Hello and welcome to your Simplified Coin Review. So today we are going to be talking about Populous. The ticker is PPT. If you're a big fan of this cryptocurrency or even a hater, make sure you stay and watch the video. So before we go any further, make sure you're a subscriber to our channel. Smash the like button for us. You have to be a subscriber to enter our contest. I'll pop the details behind me. Contest ends on June 15th. So, okay, let's get back to Populous. So right now, let's check it out on coinmarketcap.com. It's coming in at number 43. It is a token. It is worth almost $13 right now, $12.73. The market cap is $471 million. The circulating supply is 37 million. The total supply is 53 million PPT tokens. So I think those are good numbers. Let's take a look at the chart. As you can see, it's been around since summer of last year. We'll go to the crash. So as you can see, it's been a lot of sideways action. Of course, when we were seeing the pump in the middle of April and through May, it went up a little bit. The volume is up heavily on this cryptocurrency recently. So the Satoshi value and USD value have stayed relatively the same, which is quite interesting. So let's look at the website. We're not going to dig too deep on the website. We're going to be switching over just in a second to an article that's going to explain a lot about what Populous is. So as you can see, they have a nice little graphic here that shows kind of the basics of Populous. It's blockchain solutions for business. So as you can see, it's got a briefcase that represents a business that goes through the Populous smart invoicing machine here, and then it comes out with money, growth, and 3 lines. I don't know what that represents. So here, Populous World provides solutions to help businesses constantly grow and develop. We present an opportunity to benefit from using advanced blockchain and big data processing technologies effectively. So Populous Invoice Finance. So basically Populous is a token that's wanting to do peer-to-peer invoicing. And we'll look a little bit more into that here in a second. So if you're looking for the white paper for Populous, you can find it at the bottom of the website. As you can see, it has the PPT and PXP white paper. So let's look at this article. So this is the beginner's guide to Populous. A lot of these Coin Central articles are really good, and this is another one. So what is Populous? It's a peer-to-peer platform that uses blockchain to provide small and medium-sized enterprises a more efficient way to participate in invoice financing. So there's a lot of businesses, small and medium-sized businesses, that have a hard time getting the cash flow that they need to run their business. Because a lot of times what will happen is a smaller, medium-sized business will make a huge sale. And I can talk from personal experience because I used to work for a company that did printing. And basically what we would do is we would do a print job that would be $1,000, sometimes $100,000 worth of printing, and then we send them the invoice. And basically, sometimes it would take the companies up to 6 months to pay the invoice. And you just understood that was part of the process. So think about a medium-sized business. If you've done $100,000 worth of work and you haven't collected on any of it, it puts you in a tight spot. So Populous is trying to solve that problem with peer-to-peer invoicing and invoice filling. So basically, if you have an unpaid invoice that you can't collect on, you can go through the Populous platform and you can sell that invoice to someone else who will buy it from you, and I'm sure at some kind of discounted rate, and then they will wait for the actual invoice itself to be filled from the payer. So that way you're able, if you run a smaller, medium-sized business, to free up cash flow so you can make new purchases of products or whatever it might mean to you to have the extra cash for your business. So how do you know if your business would be approved to be able to take part in this program? Well, Populous uses something called the Altman Z-score formula. It takes into consideration the probability a business will be bankrupt within 2 years, whether the business will default on obligations, and control measure for financial distress. So this is it's basically an in-house credit rating. And one thing I've wondered about with cryptocurrency is we're always talking about using peer-to-peer trading or exchanging of currency or digital currency, if you will. And I thought to myself, like, that's great in like a debit card system where you actually have the money, but people are always going to need credit. So how in the world is credit going to, well, I guess they're not always going to need credit. it's a luxury a lot of people have and abuse. But where does a credit type system come into cryptocurrency? So I thought this Altman Z-score was very interesting, that it's an in-house system that Populous has to determine whether or not your business will be eligible for their program. So once you have an invoice that's filled, you'll receive what are called tokens. So that's a digital currency within the Populous platform. Once you receive your tokens, you can then exchange them out for fiat if you want. So if you're on the other side and you're interested in buying these contracts or invoices, if you will, from or through the Populous system, then how do you do it? And of course, like I said, you get it at a discount. It's a bidding system. So if you're interested in that, you have to go through all the know your customer information that Populous requires from you. And then at that point, you can be entered into their bidding group to bid on these invoices. It's actually a really cool system. Okay, so this is one thing that's a little bit complicated. The token is not the PPT token. The PPT token is the Populous platform token. So the token is the internal digital currency, and the PPT is an investment vehicle. They raised it in an ICO. It's got a max supply. When we looked at the PPT on CoinMarketCap, we were looking at the PPT token. We were not looking at the token. So I can see how it could be a little bit confusing for people. You can actually bid on the contracts with the PPT tokens, but when they're paid out in tokens. So it's a lot of pokes. So the project is based in London, and it's led by Stephen Williams. Stephen Williams also goes by Nico. So let's check out his Twitter here. As you can see, he tweets a good bit. He's got 7,000 followers. And so this is Nico. He is in charge of this. He's the CEO of Populous. Now, this is one thing that I feel like you need to know about Nico Williams, which is he has been arrested. Not just arrested, he did 42 months in a prison, a British prison, I would assume, obviously, as he is from London. And it was for fraud. He claims it wasn't technically fraud, but attempting to obtain a money transfer by deception. These are all of his charges. So as you can see, he has quite a few charges. He has 9 he was indicted on, and it looks like he was found guilty of all 9 of them. So from all the information I've been able to gather, it seems like he hacked into a stock exchange is, I think, what he got actually charged with. That's what all of these charges stem from. It's almost like a movie where, let's say, a hacker gets arrested and he does time in prison, and then you have the CIA guy that comes and meets with him and says, "You're a great hacker. Your country needs you. We'll make your sentence shorter if you help us," and so then the hacker solves whatever the problem is. And so that's the way I see Nico Williams, is that he had a lot of computer skills that he was using for evil, and now he's trying to use them for good. But of course, you still have to be a little skeptical due to his past. It's just something that you need to know if you're involved in this project. I don't know the guy personally. I myself was not always a golden boy by any stretch of the imagination. I had some stuff happen in my life where I basically had to change everything about myself, and I did, and things have been great for me ever since for the last 11 years. So I would certainly not take someone's criminal background and say, oh, because of this, they're definitely scamming. But I do feel like it's something you need to know. So one cool thing that has just recently happened is so we keep talking about how a lot of these platforms don't really have products, they don't have a lot of accomplishments. Well, Populous World successfully closes the world's first invoice sale on the blockchain. So a month ago, 16 people crowdfunded together to buy the first invoice on Populous. And now a month later, that invoice sale has closed and the money has been repaid to the original person who sold it. So it's very exciting that this actually was able to happen. So this gives a lot of promise. It's probably more of an accomplishment than most cryptocurrencies have made at this point. So good job, Populous. I applaud you. So let's check out their subreddit. Their subreddit is actually very small. It's 1.1 thousand subscribers. It's not very active. As you can see, some of these posts were, 4 days ago, 10 days ago, 14 days ago. I'm just always so confused by this. Like, how can you be a top 50 market cap coin and not have a vibrant community? It really confuses me. I noticed the same thing with Mixin. Mixin was another one that we did a review on, that it was climbing up the charts, still definitely in the top 100, and it doesn't have a community either. I mean, I posted my video expecting, for people to be searching it. And if you Google right now, Mixin review, that's Mixin, I'm like number one on Google, and I hardly get any views on it. People just aren't looking for it or excited about Mixin, even though it's in the top 100. And with Populous, I kind of see the same thing with their subreddit, to where people aren't excited about it in their subreddit. They're hardly ever posting anything. Things get very few upvotes, not a lot of comments. So Populous community, what are you doing? Let's get on the ball here. So if you're in the Populous community and not on their subreddit, then I would go get on it. So here is Populous World. Bit Populous is the name of their Twitter handle. They got almost 23,000 followers right now. They are posting on here pretty much every day. So the Twitter content is pretty good. Maybe I just haven't found the right subreddit. But I think this is it, Bit Populous. So I'm a little confused on why the Twitter community seems to be very active, and yet the subreddit is not active. Maybe they should have some kind of like we talked about with Origin Trail, where they have people from the team in the subreddit trying to keep conversation going on it. I think that is, we have the founder's history, and we have the lack of a community on the subreddit is the two downfalls to this. We have the actually closing on one of the invoices that is really great about this project. I think that there's a lot of stuff to like about it. What they're doing makes sense, a way for people to free up cash flow in their businesses, specifically small and medium-sized ones. I know I have XM Radio. I hear 100 commercials a day for places that give business loans. So this is obviously a big need in the business community. It seems like they've got everything together here with the project. You just got to know the good and the bad with it. So I hope you've enjoyed this review. I hope you understand what they're trying to do, the history of their founder, the downfall of not having an active subreddit. I hope you can kind of take all that information and take it the next step and do your own research to see if this is something you want to invest in. I know some people are pretty excited about this project, which is why I decided to do a review on it. So like I said, just make sure you're doing your own research. Don't base anything or any financial decision you make based on something I say, because I'm not a professional. I do my research. I know what's going on with these projects, but I am not a financial advisor. So thanks for watching. Smash the like button. Become a subscriber. Enter our contest. Until next time, that was your Simplified Coin Review.